Workplace culture has been highlighted in the last few years, so how do the principles of top-down culture influence and reshaping leadership and corporate culture on a broader scale look? For more, I'm joined by Lyndsay Dowd, a distinguished business coach with over 25 years of experience. And Lyndsay, in your book, Top-Down Culture, you say it's important to move away from the term soft skills and instead brand them power skills. Why is that?
Yeah, I actually hope anyone with an earshot of this video retires the phrase soft skills. It diminishes what they really are. Power skills are what modern leaders leverage, and that's empathy, vulnerability, authenticity, giving your teams autonomy, staying away from micromanagement. So yeah, I really believe power skills make good leaders great leaders.
Is it funny that the word micromanagement makes me shiver a little bit? I just get that. But why do you think fostering psychological safety is so critical in modern organizations, now more than ever, do you think?
I think psychological safety allows people to perform at their best. It basically says, I've got your back, now fly. You're allowing people to stretch and reach for things they've never done, innovate, collaborate, communicate. And unlike a micromanagement environment, it's a safe place for them to try new things and really challenge themselves. It's really what the best leaders have learned to do. And when you're doing it right, the results follow.
Well, that's my next question, is that return on investment. How can organizations measure that when it comes to cultivating a positive and strong company culture? Is it just more people smiling more the time?
I think that's a great question, because culture is a feeling. So people would think it's difficult to measure, but think of all of the ways you could measure it. You've got attrition numbers, obviously. You've got surveys, employee surveys and customer sat surveys. You've got performance reviews. You've got your regular one-on-ones. You've got engagement. You've got training programs. And how are people being promoted after those training programs? And are you tracking how long they're staying in roles? There's a number of ways to measure it. And I think we would be remiss if we just said, oh, well, culture is just a feeling. We don't have to do anything about it. It's the difference of really making your business sing.
Which of course leads me to poor leadership and those bad bosses out there. How are they impacting the financial health of a business? And I guess what practical steps could be taken to minimize those negative implications for the people you've seen out there, maybe challenged by some of the stuff we're talking about?
I think the impact of poor leaders is felt deeply throughout the organization. And you have to remember, people quit managers. They don't quit companies. People don't want to leave their jobs most of the time. It's usually as a result of having a manager who didn't treat you right, or who didn't give you that autonomy that you were looking for. And the damage a toxic leader can do is profound. You will not keep your top performers. You're breeding an environment of mediocrity. And that is a domino effect and a ripple that is very, very hard to correct. So it's so important you understand who your leaders are, how they lead their teams, and check in with the people in the trenches to make sure that they have the space to do the jobs they were hired for.
Very well said by you. And I think all of us can think of somebody who pops to mind when there's these bad bosses or bad leadership that's made us uncomfortable. How can organizations leverage diversity, equity, and of course inclusion into their strategies to gain a competitive edge? I understand you wanted to touch on that as well.
Yeah, I think what people need to remember is people vote with their dollars. And whether it's B2B or you're selling to a customer, customers want to buy from who they look like, who they relate to. And if your entire board and your senior leadership is pale, male, and stale, you are leaving out a huge component of buyers and clients and employees. People want to relate to they want to relate to people they look like and respond to. So it's just really more of an advantage for you to have a much more diverse workforce, because they're going to bring much better ideas to the table, things that you might not have thought of in the past. And when I've led really big teams, and thankfully they have been really diverse, we were able to outperform quarter after quarter because we were able to think differently. And that is how you stack your team to really, really crush your number quarter after quarter, year after year.
And that is how it's done. Lyndsay, if people want to get in contact with you or perhaps learn a little bit more about what we've been speaking about, where is the best place to follow up?
Sure. My book is found at topdownculture.com, or you can find me at heartbeatforhire.com, and all of my socials are connected there too.
Hey, keep the blood pumping, and thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me, Mike.